Being clear on your purpose. Hello, Joyce Edison here, coming to you with the Legacy Building Podcast. I'm so glad that you've tuned in today. And today I want to talk about clarity and focus. It is so easy to get off track, get off course in your life, get away from your focus, and lose track of what's really important. This is something we all struggle with. If you're human and you have a belly button, then you know what I'm talking about. So my name is Joyce Edison, and I am so excited to be sharing with you today. This podcast is brought to you by Interpersonal Wellness Services, Inc. and the Global Workplace Wellness Summit. And we work together to bring you tips and strategies to stay well in every life dimension. And in this podcast today, I really want us to focus on first, what is clarity and why is it important for us to have clarity and focus in the things that we're doing? It's critically important, right? And you may say to yourself, well, I'm clear, but we can always get clearer. We can never be too clear on what it is we're doing and what it is we're meaning to do, because every day, just think back how many distractions you've had today, how many people who've come and ask for something, right? Or just need something from you. And you find yourself trying to meet that need, of course, just like any good person will, right? You're trying to meet that need and you're trying to stay on top of what you're working on. And I want to just read this out to you. When we think of clarity, when you look at the dictionary, the definition of clarity, it says clearness, having that lucidity as to the perception or understanding, freedom from indistinctness or ambiguity, the state or quality of being clear or transparent to the eye. So I should be able, from this definition, to look at your action and to know clearly what your intentions are. So if you have clarity and purpose, it should come across in all your interactions, in your conversation, in your focus, your messaging, your branding, your exchanges, all should lead to that message that you want to give. So as we talk about branding and messaging and stamping, really that comes back to the original thought of the show, which is building legacy, right? It's what is your legacy and how do we build it so that you are reaching the goals that you wanted to. You are having the kind of actions that you intend to, that you're getting the results that's necessary from the action and the effort. So we could put in a lot of effort and have no results. So we want to continually come back to what efforts are reaching the results we want. And those are the efforts we need to keep working on. Those are the efforts we need to focus on and consistently pursue, because those are the ones that are reaching results. It doesn't mean that we stay doing the same thing all the time. We always have to branch out and we always need to expand and do new things, but not at the expense of the things that are working for us, because we need to have a level of success in what we're doing. Otherwise, we're going to become discouraged and despondent. So it's really important to think about that when you are taking action. So when you set your goal, you set a goal for the month, or you set a goal for the week, or you set a goal for the quarter, whatever your goal strategy is or process is. Once you've set that goal, so what kind of actions do you need to take that will bring you closer to that goal? What are the considered, decided, purposeful actions that you need to be taking now to get you to that place. And that's what you need to be focusing on. That's what you need to be doing, because that's really what's important at the end of the day. It's the goal you're working on. It's the purpose, the intention, and the impact. So we all want to have some impact in our life. I think most of us do, right? There are those of us who just want to quietly be in the background and not be called upon or seen or shine. But there are those of us who feel called to have an impact and have a greater impact between us, because we know we're here for a short time, and we have only so many years or so many days to do the things that we want to do. We feel called or led to do by our spirit and our sense of purpose. And so we want to do those and do those well. And it's imperative for us to continually do those and to continually pay attention to ensuring that the things we do are towards the end goal. So once you've set your goal, you're going to think about what actions you need to take that's going to be in line with your goal. And of course, you're always going to come back and make sure that that goal is in line with you, your purpose, your vision, who you are, your branding. Right? And your legacy desire, that legacy intention that you have. What are the things you want to leave behind? What's the footprint that you want to have? And that is the underlying overarching goal framework that you're going to be working in, and always come back to it. So where do I go from here? What do I do? How does this work for me? So important, so incredibly important. Consistently, we need to be doing that, because it makes a lot of sense for us to be doing that in our life and to be doing that consistently. The next thing we have to think about is, where do we want to have that impact? So we have to choose. It's all well and good to have a bigger impact and a bigger imprint, but where do you want to have it? You can go global, but what is global, right? And is it in your community? Is it, as I said in previous podcasts, is it really just in your little town, in your suburb, in your community? Or is it in your big city? Is it, is it in politics? Is it in the municipal? Where is it you want? Is it your county? Where do you want to have that impact? And with whom? And what kind of impact do you want them to feel? What is the result you want them to have at the end? And being clear on those things are always going to keep us on track, right? And then, of course, focus. Focus is another one that we have to think about, right? When we're not focused, we get in trouble. So we can end up doing a lot of things that's not in focus with you just imagine having, we all have cameras and we take pictures. The nice thing with our cell phones these days is that you just point and shoot. It's not like the old cameras before where you have to line up and you have to be in focus. And so we get spoiled with our smartphones and our tablets. We just generally put it in the direction and something will come out. Well, it wasn't that way when cameras first came out. You had to be really precise, and and I think we've become lazy. We're not learning to be really focused, and I think we've lost our ability to be focused. Again, with social media, we get so caught up in it and not being able to focus. So that's something to think about as well. So I want to read the definition of focus, right? And it says here, as a noun, it's the central point, right? As attraction, the attention or activity. In the physics concept, it says a point at which rays of light, heat, or other radiation meet after being refracted or reflected. So it's really to bring to a focus or into focus, to cause a converge or a perceived point. Is that specific thing that you're going to do, is that specific impact you want to have, is that specific intention that you want to hold in this moment, is that specific thing that you want to do. And that's what keeps us in focus, is being very, very clear and really microing on that focus and saying, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and this is what I'm going to be known for. Very, very important in ensuring that we are legacy building the way we intend to, and our brand is coming out strong, our brand is showing up, and that legacy is strong, so that, and as I said in previous podcasts, legacy doesn't have to be something that people see after you die. The beautiful thing about legacy today is that you can see your legacy is right here. You can see it. You can go back and say, what have I done for the past 5 years? What have I done for the last 10 years? That's part of your legacy. What have I done last year? What do I want to do this year? That is very important in building legacy, is asking yourself those questions and having that reflection that helps you to come back and say, this is what I've done. It's not quite in line with what I want to do or where I want to be. This is more in line with where I want to go or what I want to be. So I need to come back. I need to refocus. So if when you go to a studio to have photos done and you work with a professional photographer, they have lens and they focus and they want different angles and they want different, they'll tell you, turn this way, turn your head that way. So they're focusing in on certain angles. So maybe we have to do the same thing in our life when we're building legacy, when we're building, we have to turn to different angles. We have to refocus, change, look at different perspectives, shift, because that's where we're going to get that clarity. That's where we're going to say, this is it. This is it. This is the perfect pose. All right. This is the perfect focus that I need to take, because this is the selling point. This is what's going to make this legacy worth looking back on and worth reading or sharing, because it's meaningful and impactful to what we're doing. And that's what we're doing in this legacy building show. I'm so glad that you've tuned in today. I hope you've gotten a nugget here that will help you as you go ahead building your legacy, because that is so important. We build legacy every moment by moment. You're building your legacy. Day by day, you're building your legacy. Everything you do is going into your legacy and ensuring that you have clarity and focus, that the legacy you're building is the one you intend to build and not the one that happened by happen chance. This is Joyce Edison, joyceedison.com. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I wish you much success as you get clarity and focus on your legacy. Be well. Bye now.